Jack here, JBF Music and Guitar Lessons, back with some signature guitar-like goodness for you. Probably the most influential electric guitarist of all time, one Jimi Hendrix. We've got 3 licks in ascending difficulty. I'm trying to get into the nuances of Jimi Hendrix's playing style. I had a tutor years back who referred to Jimi as the patron saint of guitar, with the proviso of this being applied to the electric guitar. What do you guys reckon about that statement? Is it on the money or blown way out of proportion? Let me know in the comments. Just before we get into it, the tabs are up on my patreon.com/JBFmusic if you want them, and if you enjoy this kind of thing or the content I put in general, please do let me know with a like and a comment. Both really help out the channel as well as the visibility of the specific video. It means it pops up in searches and makes it easier for other players to find. If you haven't already, please feel free to give subscribe a click, do the enable all notifications thing, all that good stuff to let that notorious algorithm know that you like to see more of this kind of stuff, but more than enough from me, let's just crack on, eh? Alright, we've got Little Wing here, and just to clear it up, I'm going to be in standard tuning throughout these licks. In terms of the technique, we have a tone bend, add in vibrato. Now, without derailing this video too much, you can check the little eye up there for tips on how to keep a controlled vibrato while sustaining a bent note. So we have that. Release to pitch and tone bend again. We pick these next 3 notes, then hammer on. Pick this next note and add vibrato. We have a bend and release again by tone on the 15th fret. And down to this note here. Again, some vibrato on it. We then want to bend the 14th fret up by a tone. Mute it when it reaches pitch, so rather than bring it up and down, you want to kind of mute it. Just when it reaches there. Pick this note. The same 14th fret bending idea. Or mute it when it gets to pitch. Release the bend and hit the 14th fret. Now this next bit here, I'm sure I'm going to get a sea of comments of people disagreeing with me, but I'm hearing this and then recording whether my ears are just deceiving me or not. But I'm pretty sure there's a little grace note hammer here, so we're raking into the 14th fret and then hammering on very quickly the 16th, so it's just one of these. It's not just a really quick hammer, okay? Then we're picking these next few notes. We're bending this 14th fret, releasing it to pitch, and then bending it again. So you just hit that once. It's difficult to demonstrate at slow speed because, as you can hear there, my sustain ran out. But you're bending it, return and back up, okay? And again, you want to mute this one on the second bend. Then it's already pre-bent, so we're just going to hit this 14th fret, bring it back down to pitch, pull off to this 12th, and resolve to this 14th fret. The D string with a bit of vibrato. Okay, I'm going to break down that second last bar because it is a bit fiddly. We've got this bend, mute, return it to pitch and hit the 14th fret again. Rake through, and we do this little grace note hammer, picking these next two notes. Then we have this bend, so we're hitting it once, back to pitch, bend it up and mute. It's pre-bent already, so we just hit this string again, pull off to the 12th fret, resolve to the 14th. So I'm going to keep the theory really brief here. We're playing over an E minor, to a G, to an A minor, back to an E minor. One chord for each bar. We've got bends from the flat 7th to the root, flat 7th, 5th, 5th hammer onto the flat 7th. In this bar we change to G, so this 12th fret here. It's a B, it's G major's 3rd, so we're playing the 3rd. We then have the 5th, which we're bending to the 6th, back to the 5th. We're then playing the root here, and again, taking the 2nd and bending it to the 3rd, 5th. We're over an A minor in this bar, so we've got the root, which is being bent to the 2nd, back to the root, quick hammer onto the 2nd, root, flat 7th, root to the 2nd bends, the 2nd pre-bend, coming down to the root, pulling off to the flat 7th, then landing on here, which is an E, and we've changed back to an E minor in this bar, so we're landing on the root. What can we extrapolate from this? Okay, well mainly sticking to the tried and tested triad chord tones, we can see that using the flat 7th over the E, the 6th over the G major, bending to it, the 2nd and the flat 7th over the A minor will help give it that more floaty vibe and help licks or improvisation sound a bit less rigid. All along the Watchtower's intro solo here, you might want to consider picking lightly, using your volume or tone pots to shape it to a more mellow sound. More on pot control using Uli John Roth as a case study with the little I up there. But yeah, let's break down the note manipulations used here because there is an awful lot of them. Slide into this note, I've put the 4th fret, but it really doesn't matter too much, just slide in quickly from anywhere below these two notes. So we have a tone bend and partial releases 4 times, so rather than dropping it back to pitch, you drop it just maybe like a semi or a quarter tone before rebending it. On the 4th time, what you want to do is add in some nice controlled vibrato. Now, without getting too ridiculous with the detail, although that ship may have already sailed, this vibrato in terms of its timing is in 3 triplet notes. So what I mean by that is when the vibrato reaches its peak, so if you think of it as like miniature bends, because that's essentially what vibrato is. When it's at the highest pitch, that conforms to a triplet rhythm like this. I'm exaggerating a bit so you can hear that there. We release this pre-bent note, pull off, then sliding quickly from the 11th to the 13th frets on the G string. Pick this 11th fret 3 times, adding vibrato on the last hit. Probably kind of 16th notes in terms of the vibrato's timing if we want to get into that again. They're sliding down and out of this. Sliding back up to the 11th fret, on the D string this time. Pick these next 2 notes. Tone bend, mute the string, release the bend and then hit it twice, bending my tone again on the second time. Adding in some vibrato. This vibrato in terms of its timing I think was 3 triplet notes and then a final one, so like this. So we then hit this pre-bent note, return it back to pitch and pick the next 2 notes. That brings us to bar 4. Okay, this took me a while to figure out what the decoration was and I might have misheard it, so by all means please fire any suggestions down below, but this is as close as I could get to the original. So I've put in the open string, but it might in fact just be kind of like a crosshead note, so it might just be a mute and you're kind of hammering on. So rather than just hitting this note, you can either hit the open string and hammer, just really quickly, or kind of hit a muted note and then hammer. Try and slow that down. So you need to do it quickly, it doesn't work at a slow speed really. Hopefully you can hear that there. There's just a tiny little nuance. But anyway, whatever you choose to go for, you're hitting the B string and then hammering on, pulling off to the 9th fret, rolling your first finger to catch this 9th fret on the G. We then have a tone bend on this 12th fret on the B string, and again adding in this vibrato. So here you want to hold the vibrato, and I think you're dipping and raising it 3 times. And then the final one here, I can't quite work out if Hendrix hit this really lightly and slid down and out of it, or just kind of bent it with enough force that the note still sounds. So by that I mean you can go, just hit it really softly above the neck pickup, or you can kind of bend it harder. So because I'm playing with really low gain, I'm opting to hit it there. Again, tiny details, and it's totally up to you whether you do these and what you do with them. The main thing is to get that soft texture and slide down out of the note. Okay, the theory side of things is perhaps a bit anticlimactic in comparison to that amazing masterclass in note manipulation and articulation. While Hendrix to me is probably more of a blues-based player, this is very much a more modern modal sound, a type of contemporary rock playing you'd hear from guys like Steve Vai or Joe Satriani. Check out the little eye up there for more examples of that kind of thing. I've popped the underlying chordal sort of riff up there with the notes from the solo, so hopefully you can see the two parts working together a bit more clearly. Over this B major, we've got a 6th and the root. Over the C sharp minor, we've got the 2nd or the 9th, so we're bending up to that. The same note is bent and released over the B. So it's a kind of a major 3rd when it's bent, being released to the 2nd. So it's very much in passing here. Then we go to the root, that B, sliding up to the major 7th. Over the A. In bar 2 we play the 6th 3 times. Sliding up to the 2nd and the 4th over the B minor. 4th over the C sharp minor. Bar 3 the 4th is being bent up to the 5th. Back to the 4th. Back to the 5th again. The chord changes to a B, so here we're playing the 6th, 5th, 4th, and a major 3rd. Over the A. Bar 4, the grace note, if indeed it is even there, is the 2nd, but that doesn't really factor in because it's so quick. So essentially we've got the root, major 7th, 5th, the 2nd being bent up to the 3rd. The chord changes here back to a B major, so we rebend up to the 9th and slide out of that. If you want to get a more modern sound in this vein, the 9th is really your best pal here. The 6th and the 4th will also help break away from the more typical blues rock sound. And as a side note, because the rhythm guitar is quite low in the mix and it's an acoustic, I reckon it makes this sort of modal playing a bit more digestible when compared to the more dense approach jazz tends to take. Speaking of digestible, if you're still with me at this point, good going, and a shout out to the Lick Squad Elite. You guys rock. Okay, and if you want the next fuzz-fueled riff, give the little eye up there click. I put this lick last because I really tried to get all the ghost notes and stuff tabbed out in this. In all honesty, this tab is overly complicated for what the lick is, but if you want it as authentic with all these tiny nuances, it will make the difference. Having said that, if you just want the bare bones of it, if you kind of ignore most of the stuff that are in brackets there, you'll get the lick and most people will think this sounds great. Okay, before we get into it, there's a pet peeve of mine that we as guitarists, and I myself am very much guilty of this, we tend to rush ahead of the beat, and with this lick in particular we'll play it overly staccato, so we'll kind of play it a bit ahead of itself so it feels like it's tripping over itself almost. This kind of like, almost kind of country, kind of jerky kind of way. If you listen to Jimmy's way of playing it on the recording, on the studio version, it is really laid back and behind the beat. Very much legato when the notes ring out into each other, almost kind of flow into each other. So if you take nothing else away from this, just lay back on this lick, let the notes ring out and into each other, because the wah kind of makes it sound like it's staccato without you having to do the same thing with your hands, without you having to mute the notes out. And while we're on the subject of your wah, you want to rock it forward on each beat. So say the tempo's about this speed, 1, 2, 3, 4. Where I'm clapping is where you want the wah pushed down to the floor. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This means it's being released on the offbeats in between and you get that rhythmic wah sound. The wah is essentially an EQ. I've done a little bit more on that recently. You can find it with the eye up there. You can use it to get kind of a solo boost. The other thing that's worthwhile mentioning here is that while I do have a pet peeve about the staccato thing, I think the live versions Hendrix did, and indeed the live version Stevie Ray Vaughan tended to have that kind of rushed staccato vibe. So it is an aesthetic choice, but personally I just really prefer the vibe of the studio one. Alright, let's tackle this beast, this leviathan of nuance and tiny little ghost notes that might not really be there, but I think are. So we're starting off with vibrato on this 9th fret. Now here is the first controversy. I think there's a pull-off, right? But the wah pedal's being rocked back and that gives us a kind of lower, muddier EQ, so it is hard to tell. And that's why I put that note in parentheses. So a lot of the notes like that, it's up to you whether you play them or not. We then have a grace note hammer from the 7 to the 9. So it's one of these really quick little hammer things again. This 7th fret by itself. We're going to pick this 5th fret twice and the 7th. I've put vibrato on the tab. It's maybe more of a tiny bend, but they're so subtle, like a 16th or an 8th tone if you will, that I figured putting it as vibrato makes a bit more sense. Then we got the first set of ghost notes. So you might not want to pick any of these notes. It really depends what kind of tone you're using. I've gone for very kind of clean tone. I've tried to match the Hendrix sound as best I can, and because I'm using such little gain I probably have to pick these notes to make them ring out. But you're basically going to add in maybe some light palm muting as well. Hit the 7th fret, pull off to the 5th, and then the open, so you get this. It's almost like a rhythmic little triplet you're getting. They are really quite fast and are much more of just a note decoration than anything else. So that bar we've got the vibrato, pull off, quick hammer, this note, vibrato over these 3, then the little ghost triplet thing. Bar 2, again a tiny bend, or I've put a bit of vibrato. You're going to pull off, pick these next 2 notes, and then it's kind of vibrato or a quarter tone bend. That's kind of what I'm doing. Maybe just a tiny little quarter tone. You then release it and pull off. This sort of thing, I just sat on it for a while, looped it and tried to get the sound Hendrix made on the record into my head, and then sort of manifest it by just listening closely to what sounded right and adjusting it till I got it as close as I could. And you might hear it differently, you might do it differently from me, but it's what I was hearing there. We then got 2 muted scratches to round out the bar. I've notated it as being these strings here, but to be honest, any of the ones in the middle are going to sound good. It's going to sound just fine. So that bar, we've got the vibrato, pull off, picking these notes, and this kind of little like exotic quarter tone bend thing, then your mutes. Bar 3, a grace note hammer, vibrato, pick this note, another grace note hammer. These next 3 notes are all quarter tone bends. A bit more pronounced than before, so that's why I put them as quarter tone bends. Then we've got the 7th fret, followed by some more ghost notes. So this time, same as before, it's a 16th note triplet. And like before, I'm not picking these ones, I'm just kind of letting the momentum from the string kind of carry the note through. So just kind of pulling off, hammering on, and again some very light palm muting. That bar, got the hammer on, vibrato, this note, quick hammer on, quarter tone bend, 2 more. This note with a vibrato, and a little pull-off hammer-on thing. Just 4 notes in this bar, a bit of a reprieve, adding vibrato or tiny bends to the first, and the 4th notes. The thing to watch on this bar is on the 4th note, the wah kind of adds a little extra accent to it, so if you listen to my intro demo or the original recording, which is probably a better thing to do, you can pick up on that subtlety. Pretty much a repeat of bar 3 here. Until the 7th fret where we hit it, add in some vibrato and then pull off, then some more ghost notes. So you're basically hitting the open string, hammering on the 5th, the 7th, and then pulling off. So you've got the hammer on, the grace note, vibrato, this note, hammer on, quarter tone bend, another 2 quarter tone bends, the vibrato, pull off, and the little ghost decoration. Okay, a similar bar to before, we're going, in fact it might be identical to that one that we had previously, so again you're picking this note, pulling off, hitting these next 2, and that kind of vibrato-y, almost exotic quarter tone bend, pull off, 2 little scratches, to wrap up the bar. We then kick off the next bar with a grace note hammer on, some vibrato. I think there's a pull off here, but put that in, again up to you what you do. Grace note hammer, another tiny wee bend on the 7th fret, a bit of vibrato as I've notated it, 2 quarter tone bends on the 5th fret, a grace note hammer from the 5th to the 7th, all with a little bit of vibrato, finishing on that 7th fret. So that one, grace note hammer and vibrato, pull off, grace note hammer, vibrato on this note, quarter tone bends, hammer, grace note, vibrato, just a note by itself. The last bar here, it starts off really similar to before. We're hitting this 9th fret with vibrato onto this one, 7th fret, 9th fret again with a bit of vibrato, bending the 10th fret up a kind of 3 quarter tone bend, mute it, release it, kind of hit this note here, and then this 9th fret here. Oh, and at this point you probably want to keep the wah tilted kind of up or kind of back for more of that low end muffled kind of sound. And kick on the fuzz as well if you've got your fuzz there, that's where this kind of riff really takes it to a new level. Okay, some more really anticlimactic music theory for you guys here. This is an E minor pentatonic lick, there's not too much point going in more detail than that. But while we do tend to play this sort of scale in this box shape, that's all that's really happening here are those notes, except we're playing the root here and here. The flat third's been moved from here to here. There's the 4th there, the 5th, and we've got flat 7s here and here. So I suppose the main takeaway here is playing between the 2 positions here, and rather than just sticking to the one. It's also making really good use of the root here and here, as I mentioned before, to cement the tonal centre. A big thank you and shout out to John Rambo for their continued support on Patreon. Click there for some iconic Hendrix riffs. This has been Signature Guitar Licks, that's the playlist there. But yeah, hit subscribe to keep up to date with the channel, leave me a comment, check out my tabs on Patreon, and enable all notifications by ringing that little bell on the side if you feel so inclined. Cheers guys.